Everyone. Welcome to Jump Sparks Virtual Road Trip to College. Today's stop, the University of Richmond. My name's Amy Fox. I'm the Navigating Parenthood Coordinator for Jump Spark, Atlanta's Jewish Teen Initiative. Jump Spark drives innovative teen programming out of the Jewish Federation of Greater Atlanta, and we're one of 10 communities in North America that comprise the Jewish Teen Funder Collaborative. We want to thank our friends at Chicago Springboard for inspiring us to create our first ever national road trip for all college-bound teens and their parents. And we're in partnership with our friends from Forefront Baltimore. We are thrilled to bring you 33 college info sessions in the month of June. We've already featured info sessions for some amazing colleges on our road trip. Those include Tulane, Miami, American, Georgia Tech, Duke, University of Florida, Elon, University of Georgia, University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, College of Charleston. That's just to name a few. We've also featured helpful workshops and webinars to help you get through the college admissions experience. Did you miss a session that you really wanted to participate in? No worries. All are being recorded on our YouTube channel and can be found through our website, roadtriptocollege.org. I want to thank U of R student Sage Watterson for her amazing and informative takeover of our social media today. You can follow Sage and all of our virtual bus drivers at JumpSparkATL. We are extremely excited today to feature the University of Richmond. Our panelists today are Assistant Director of Admission, Jose Garcia, Jewish Chaplain and Director of Religious Life, Josh Jeffries, and our student voices today are Ilana Levine and Max Wallach. As our panelists are presenting, please feel free to enter questions in the Q&A. We're going to leave plenty of time at the end to answer all your questions. I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to Jose.
Thank you, Amy. First of all, thank you for having us here. One thing I want to start off with to our audience is kind of give you a quick glimpse of who we are. So I'm going to share my screen and give you a quick video of the University of Richmond, but more particular, the stars, our students. that's just kind of a quick glimpse of our students, our campus, everything. So the next thing I'm gonna do is quick share.
Things look a lot different.
There we go. Sorry about that. So a little bit about us, guys, a little about the University of Richmond. We always talk about the city of Richmond. For us, the city of Richmond is an awesome place. Over 1 million people. Our campus sits 6 miles from downtown Richmond. The good thing about our campus and our location is where we are and how close we are to everything. We're 2 hours from Washington, D.C. We're 2 hours from the Blue Ridge Mountains. We're 2 hours from Virginia Beach, so it's kind of a great location. Our campus is truly a suburban campus, so it gives you a little bit of, you can go into the city, but then you come back into our campus. So for us, guys, we're a little bit about us. We're a little over 3,000 students, undergraduate. We have our own law school, our own grad school. It's about 1,000 law and grad school students. For us, guys, all our classes are small. The student-faculty ratio is 8:1. Average class size is 16, so definitely that one-on-one attention on our campus. For us, guys, we do a good thing for us is our campus life. We have over 90% of our kids live on campus all 4 years. We do guarantee housing all 4 years. So you get that campus community, that feel of who our class is, that feel of the family environment on our campus. One thing we are proud of is our retention. 94% of our kids do come back from freshman to sophomore year. So you see that ability to have that community feeling, but that ability to know that you're being taken care of on campus, that you have all these different people in your corner helping you out from there. We are one of less than 1% of the entire nation. So less 1% of the entire colleges and universities in the entire nation that meet 100% demonstrated need and also are need blinding the admissions process, which means we don't look at your financial status when we're making a decision here at the University of Richmond. So for us, guys, it kind of gives you a glimpse of last year's class coming in. It was an awesome class. It was actually our largest class ever that came in last year, 832 students, as you see on the map, from all over. Literally not just all over the U.S., but all over the world. For us, guys, we represented last year 47 states and 72 different countries that came in last year. If you look at a little glimpse of our class, 20% of our class identifies as a U.S. student of color, 16% are non-native English speakers, 14% are actually first-generation students, and 8% are international. So for us, guys, when you're looking at our class, you're looking to see what we're looking for. We're looking for that student that is an impactful student. We talk about game changers, students that are willing to impact not only our campus, but this world. So for us, guys, we talk about our academics. It's an awesome thing because first, when you walk into our campus, you cannot declare major your first year. You actually come in undeclared and you start in the School of Arts and Science. So you're going to follow liberal arts curriculum. After your freshman year, you can declare. We have 3 different schools or colleges within the university that you can go into. We have our School of Arts and Science, which is where most of our students go into. We are the first school to have a leadership studies school, but it's an awesome place for us, especially if they're looking at those programs to enhance your leadership skills. And we have a Robbins School of Business. What's even more cool about our campus is the fact that you can multi-major. You can have more than one major. If you guys see in the middle of this picture, 2 and 3 students actually have multiple areas of study. So that's a great thing because it's making you stand out. You may have multiple interests, maybe something from the School of Business, something from Arts and Science, maybe it's leadership studies in the School of Business. Literally, guys, it's up to you. So it's something where I think you guys get to see what you can do, but how you can create your job opportunities, your career path, what you want to do in life, because sometimes that path is a little bit different for everybody across the board. So again, guys, for us, there are multiple pathways for you. Understand your first year, though, you're going to kind of feel your way through there. You're going to see, I know you guys have an idea of what you want to do, but for us, we want to make sure we're giving you the right direction where you're going from there. One thing at our campus talk about is the yes mentality. Yes, the fact that we're going to give you every resource possible to be successful on our campus. And that starts with the biggest one of all, the Richmond Guarantee, where at least one summer, if not multiple summers, you are given up to $4,000 in funding to do whatever you want career path-wise. So you're thinking, Jose, what does that mean? That basically means that you can actually, if you're getting an internship and it doesn't pay, use it to pay yourself. Maybe it does pay you, but doesn't cover housing. Use that for housing. Use it for research opportunities. Whatever your mind thinks of a way to help your career path, use it in that way. We have students that have gone on to Italy to write operas, that have traveled over Europe, that have done different things, have written out essays, everything that nature, things that are helping them towards their career path, guys, you can use this funding for. And again, this is guaranteed at least one summer, if not multiple summers. So take advantage of this, something that we're giving to our students all the time. These are some spotlights for us, guys, things that we have been ranked at as some of the best. Again, starts with number 2 in career service by the Princeton Review. What this means is, guys, we're doing so much for you on your career path. We say this all the time. Once you have a great 4 years on a campus, we're more worried about the next 40 years. We want to make sure, guys, that you guys have an awesome career, that you guys have an awesome life, that you're making your parents, your guardians, everybody to help you out proud. And again, for you guys to be successful. Talking about internships. We talk about our campus itself, the classroom experience. Guys, study abroad is a huge thing for us. For us, guys, we're second most university studied abroad in the country. What we do, guys, we want to make sure you've gone to go explore, go out there, see other parts. We know that learning learning, it all happens as much outside the classroom as inside the classroom. So another aspect for us, guys, is when you guys are traveling abroad, you also get an additional $1,000 on your trips to culture excursions. That means go around, go look at things, museums, restaurants, wherever the case may be. Go explore, guys. You want to learn. You can start traveling abroad from your freshman year if you wanted to, and you're not restricted to a semester. You can do summer trips, 2-week trips, whatever the case may be, guys. We want you to go explore. We want you to go see other parts of the world, see what else is out there. Come back to us, guys, and grow as a person. So that's a huge thing for us. So for us, guys, we're going to talk about the holistic admissions. We're going to talk about how we look at students. So for us, guys, we're looking at the whole package. So for us, our entire package consists of, one, your transcript. Want to see those grades. Want to see you're competitive in the classroom, that you're pushing yourself. That means your curriculum, your rigor. How much are you pushing yourself in the classroom? Test scores, guys. We do take the SATs or ACTs, either one. We do super score. This just came out. We have gone test optional this year. So for us this year, guys, a student has the option of either turning in test scores or not turning in test scores. You're not going to be looked at differently, and you'll still be eligible for all scholarships through the test optional process. We do require one recommendation from a counselor. We say no more than 3 after that. The reason we say that, guys, if you give us 10, 12, we had a student give us 27 last year. Big thing for that, guys, is when you turn in that many, it's going to be, why'd you turn in so many? What's the red flag behind it, guys? We want to see activities. What I mean by that is that you're successful not only in the classroom, but outside the classroom. As you see in the stars right there, our class last year did a lot of things. You look at 255 of our incoming class were captains. 61 worked 15 hours or more a week. So we want to see those kids that can be impactful outside the classroom. And guys, it ranges across the board. As I said, sports, a job, volunteer work. Honestly, it's helping take care of your little brothers, little sisters, your grandparents, something of that nature. But show us that you can be balanced across the board. And for us, the big thing, guys, through this whole thing is going to be your essay. Tell us about you. We do not offer admissions interviews here at the University of Richmond. So sometimes the essay is the only time we get to know who you are. So make this about yourself. Tell us about a great thing you went through, maybe something that you struggled through, something that's helped you grow, maybe a person that helped you grow as a person. But this time you have to give us a time where we can get to know you as a person. The other aspect, guys, is our Richmond question. This is a supplemental essay where we give you 3 prompts. You answer that. We tell students all the time, please put the effort into the prompt and to the supplemental question as you do the essay. That's a big thing for us. One thing I will tell you, in the admissions process, I will make a recommendation for the students I do review, but when we make a decision, at least 6 sets of eyes look at each individual application before we make a decision. Also take into account, guys, what the application model is or what process you're gonna go through. We are a selective institution. We accepted 20% of our applicants last year, so over 12,000 applications. We accepted about 3,500 students to come up with 832 enrollees. So for us, guys, we do have early decision, which for all you guys, I know you've heard it before, just want to make sure I repeat it. This is a contract. This is where if you decide to come to Richmond, early decision round 1, which is November 1st application deadline, or January 1st for early decision round 2, that means if you are admitted, you are committing to us. You are depositing to us. You're going to you're going to commit to us right 30 days after your acceptance letter. We do have early action, which is November 1st. In early action, guys, this is when you can apply early, but there's no commitment behind it. This is when you'll get a decision, usually by latest by Christmas time. And then the other one is our regular decision pool, which is January 1st. So for that, guys, that's if you're waiting till the last round, that is okay. We'll be honest with you, it is better to apply early than later. Here's some transparency. If you decide to go early decision round 1 or round 2, the acceptance rate goes up to 44%. So you see it's a better shot going early decision. Maybe you're thinking, well, Jose, I'm not really secure, but Richmond's one of my top schools. I'd say go early action. It jumps up to about 28, 29% acceptance rate. If you want to wait to regular, it's on you right there, but I will be honest with you, it is much more competitive. Last year, the acceptance rate for regular decision was 10.5%. So as you see, it gets harder as you go along deeper. You will get one of multiple decisions. You can be admitted, which is, woo, you're in, that's awesome. You can be a future spider. We do deny students, as I said, being a select institution. And we do have things called deferred or waitlisted. Deferred means, guys, if you're deferred in early decision or early action, it means we're going to move you from the early round to the regular round because we're not ready to make a decision yet. We want to see new test scores, if you're turning in test scores, new grades and semester grades, everything of that nature, or you have new accomplishments, send that in to us. If you're waitlisted, guys, in the regular decision round, that means we're going to wait to see how our class turns out. And if we do decide to come off the wait list, we will look at it as a committee and pick out the students we feel that can come off the wait list from there. So things we're going to look for, guys, when you're applying to the University of Richmond is going to be, one, the application type. We are Common App or Coalition application. Both of those open in August. And again, that includes turning in the Richmond question. We will need an official high school transcript. This will come from your school counselor. They can't email that to us. So we usually take a PDF from that. So definitely get that into us. What I mean by secondary school report form is a school profile. We look at you guys individually in your school. So we don't match you across the country. We look at each school individually because every school is different. Some schools may only offer 6 APs. Some schools may offer 27 APs. Some schools may only offer may not offer any APs or anything of that nature. So definitely gives you a glimpse of why we need the secondary school report. I talked about the recommendation letters, talked about SAT or ACT scores. Again, we are test optional, so it gives you a choice on either turning in scores or not turning in scores. And the final thing, guys, we're gonna need is first quarter, trimester, senior grades, and that basically can be self-reported through, when you guys apply, we have what we call the Spider portal. What that means, guys, in the portal, we have checklists. Those checklists will have this list along with a financial aid checklist, which will include, for us, if you're applying for financial aid, we need the FAFSA and the CSS profile along with tax records. So again, in the portal, you'll see everything we have. So if we have it, it's a green check mark. If we don't have it, it's a red X. So again, it's a way for you guys to stay on top of everything from there. Big thing, guys, we need those first semester, the grades, and in particular, we're looking at your transcript, is not only how well you're doing in there, but are you on an upward trend or a downward trend? You may have had a rough freshman year, but then you've gone up the whole time. That's awesome. That shows that you have been resilient. At the same time, you may be going down. Explain to us what's happening. Why'd you go down? Did something happen? In the Common App, there's a section called additional information. Let us know if something has happened, if an event happened, why grades have gone down, why things have happened, but keep us informed the whole time through there. Biggest thing, guys, this is my contact information, is this, guys. When you're applying to the University of Richmond is, one, make sure you stay on top of your deadlines. Want to make sure that you guys are getting information to us as soon as possible. Two, contact us. Reach out to our office. Any questions we have, make sure I can answer those questions for you. If not, someone in our office. We have gone virtual, guys, due to COVID-19. We are, as of this point, we have not opened our campus up for visitors, but we basically transitioned all of our on-campus visit stuff to virtual programs. If you go on our admissions webpage, we have videos, we have blogs, we have everything to think of, guys, give you as much information as possible. You have what we call spider chats. Spider chats are the ability to talk to either a current student or a alumni in your area virtually. So a chance to have an informal conversation with them to learn a little bit more of what it's like to be a current student or what it's like to be an alumni and how we give back from there. I know this year coming up, we will be doing some travel here and there. We haven't figured out where exactly, how, who's going from there, but we're going to try to get out there as much as we can. We know some schools will not, because of COVID-19, may not let recruiters in the building. So you be on the lookout for us, anything we can do from there. The biggest thing I tell you about Richmond, guys, and the one thing I always tell every student is this. Here on the campus, you're going to hear from our students in about a few minutes, is this. We want to make sure, guys, that we give you every opportunity to be successful. We're going to give you a resource possible, everything you think of. We're going to give you guidance. One thing we talk about is we ain't going to hold your hand. We're going to guide you. And guidance is a key in life. It's the biggest thing, guys, because it's guidance. It gives you the ability to be able to move forward, to be able to have that success, but to be able to learn from the previous. I love how our upperclassmen take our freshmen and kind of put their hand around them, let them know it's going to be okay. This is how it's going to happen, everything of that nature. And again, guys, the biggest thing is the way we are located, the way our campus is, the way you have that ability to just feel one-on-one, feel that ability to have that one-on-one connection with your faculty, your staff, but at the same time, feeling that family environment here on our campus. Guys, throughout this whole process, throughout this thing, if you have questions, anything of that nature, I know I'm going to pass that on to Lana a little bit, is Make sure, ask those questions at the end of this. We are here to answer questions, guys. Anything we can do to give you as much information, but I'll tell you this, there's nothing like being a spider. Thank you, guys. I'm gonna pass it right now on to Alana. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen.
Hey y'all, my name is Alana Levine. I am a rising sophomore at U of R. I'm very excited for the school year. I am currently planning on double majoring in psychology and leadership, so a double major. On campus, I'm involved in Hillel, women's club soccer. I'm also a tour guide, and I'm trying to think if there's, and I'm also involved in Greek life. For me, when I was looking like kind of where I was applying, it was definitely a stressful time to figure out where the heck I wanted to go and everything. But definitely one of the things that drew me to Richmond was the Jewish community. It's such an amazing community that we have. Everyone is always so nice, and we always do like these really super fun things. We'll celebrate the holidays together. I know one of my favorite things was we took a day trip to DC, and we went and saw we went and visited the Holocaust Museum. And while it was kind of a sad, I guess, little period of time on that trip, we still had a lot of fun because we kind of, we all went together, we went through it together. We got lunch and everything. We'll also do these cool things called Shabbat in the town, which was really fun. I don't know if we'll be able to do it this semester due to COVID, but in the future, if we can, we go out, we go to a synagogue and to different types of synagogues, and then we'll grab dinner either before or after. And it's just really nice to go and be with the people in our Jewish community. Max, you want to go?
Sure. Hello, my name is Maxwell Wallach. I'm a rising junior. I'm studying computer science. I'm involved in Club Frisbee. As you can see all the Frisbees behind me. I'm part of Greek life as well, and I'm also serving on the board of Hillel on campus. Hillel has been incredible since I got there. I wouldn't go as far as say it was what drew me to campus, but when I was there, Hillel, I've found Jewish people, my people, wherever I go, whether that is in Hillel, in my fraternity in Greek life, and even on the Frisbee team. There are a lot around, and I can find it feels like a good community, even with the rest of the Richmond community is pretty accepting. And if they don't know, I do have a few memories of being with friends and roommates and having really good conversations, either explaining the holidays that I celebrate and learning from other communities as well. Hillel is, normally we do a lot of our programs in the Wilton Center, which is our multi-faith chapel. And we work a lot with different groups as well, and it is just a great community. Pass it off to Josh.
Yeah, thank you, Alana and Max. I'm going to go ahead and switch over and share my screen because I've got some facts to share with everybody about Jewish life at the University of Richmond. I want to first thank JumpSpark for having us on this. We're really excited to be a part and to talk about not just the University of Richmond, but Jewish life in particular. And I want to start by giving you just an understanding of what the history of Jewish life at the University of Richmond looks like, because it's a very storied history. And in fact, we've had students at the there we go. Try this one more time. Yeah, all right. So we've had Jewish students at the University of Richmond for more than a century. And we trace it back to actually the T.C. Williams Law School when it was downtown. And since then, the University of Richmond has been very welcoming to Jewish students. In fact, by the 20s, we had 3% of our student body was identified as Jewish. And that number increased by the 50s, at which point we see Hillel, the student group on campus, for the first time, which is somewhat remarkable given the quotas that other schools had. And the welcoming, the inclusion of Jewish students on campus really is indicative of both the history of Jews in Richmond as a whole, and also the university's commitment to a vibrant expression of religious life in general. And so I want to note, as I get started here, the difference between Jewish life, which you may see perhaps in my title as the Jewish chaplain, or University of Richmond Hillel. And so when I talk about Jewish life, that's an official part of the Office of the Chaplaincy, which is positioned in student development, which is a core part of the student experience, right? So we are highly integrated into the culture of campus. We're one of 16 campus ministries offered through the chaplaincy. I'm a University of Richmond employee. Got a little bit of spider swag on tonight. And being a part of that office allows us to be involved in other parts of campus in ways that we might not be just as a student organization. With that said, I do specifically mention the University of Richmond Hillel, often in connection to our student group, right? Alana and Max are a few of our wonderful leaders in that space, and they help create the weekly programs that I'll talk about momentarily. Whereas I, along with my colleagues in the chaplaincy, there are 7 of us, work on behalf of Jewish life to really think about all the different places that Jewishness manifests itself on campus. So I'm going to talk about that now. So really, at the end of the day, it's all Jewish life. It is one thing. So if I say Hillel or Jewish life, I'm talking about the same thing. And as we do our programming, we have basically 5 platforms. In 2011, we hired the first campus rabbi, my predecessor, Rabbi Andrew Goodman, and he really set up the foundations for our program as it exists today, identifying these 5 areas, which we still incorporate into all of our programs, whether it's led by the Hillel board or by myself, right? And ritual and prayer are obviously important. Study and Torah. Social action, right? Not just studying, but really putting that into good deeds, whether it's justice or tzedek or tikkun olam, repairing the world. We have a great deal of cultural experiences. If you've been following along on Instagram today, you'll see that Sage talked in particular about challah baking and hamantashen, though it's not just limited to that. And of course, a pillar of our programming is Israel as well. And so if we look at a couple of ways that these show up, I know one of the first questions that people ask is about high holidays and what we do on campus. And Alana already mentioned our Shabbat on the town. For high holidays, well, this year's going to be a bit of an anomaly, I imagine, but for high holidays in general, we really leverage the fact that we have wonderful relationships with the Richmond Jewish community. There are 7 local shuls or prayer groups in the area, and they're all extremely welcoming. So what we do, recognizing that students might be more comfortable in their own denominational setting, is we provide students with rides, with free tickets to the local synagogues. We do meals as a community, both before and after. And then we do break fast, in particular for Yom Kippur on campus. That's something that we provide. I'll note as I do this that every single program that we're going to talk about, that I'm going to talk about, is free. That's a real commitment that we have to make sure that it's equitable and that everyone can take part. Same with our Shabbat on the town. So about 4 or 5 times a year, we visit the local synagogues. We provide dinner, as Alana said. Everything from the local Jewish deli to Thai food has been a real favorite. And again, we have wonderful partners in doing that. Our partners also allow us to do really cool things. So for the past several years, we've traveled to the Virginia Holocaust Museum, and we've had panels with local survivors, private tours, done dinners with those survivors, and it's an experience that I know our students really appreciate. And in addition to that, you can see on the right the types of things that we've done with the United States Holocaust Museum, as Alana talked about. In the middle, there's a photo that I have there of a recent thing that we did in the fall, both with our Office of International Education, which we're able to do as a part of campus, and with the University of Haifa and the Virginia Holocaust Museum to explore the future of Holocaust memory with experts in the field who were brought to campus from around the world to study that in a 3-day seminar. On campus, we do a lot, right? As I've mentioned, the weekly programs are led by our student board, but we also do Passover on campus. We do a full Seder. This year, again, was different. We had a virtual Zoom Seder for roughly 30 students, which was meaningful. But typically, we'd have a Seder for anywhere between 80 and 100 participants. It's open to the entire campus community. Last year, actually, the president, Dr. Crutcher, joined us for Passover. And it's a really meaningful experience. We also work with our dining hall to make sure that there is ingredient kosher for Passover food available for students who wish to keep Passover. And we do things like Hanukkah, Purim, other things year round. A lot of that is built into our weekly programs, but that doesn't mean that our students aren't even more creative. We've done apple picking for Sukkot. You can see challah making. Our weekly Shabbats, while we've talked about Shabbat on the town, the ones on campus vary. Our sort of typical Shabbat, if you will, is a welcoming Shabbat. It's kind of camp style or Kabbalah Shabbat where we check in as a community. But we've also done things like Shabbat in the dorms, as you can see on your left, where we provide dinner for everyone in a more family style experience, or we've done dinners in the Wilton Center, as we talked about being based in the chaplaincy, where we provide meals or movies or game nights as well. And lastly, we, as I said, have a connection to Israel, right? And it's something that we explore in our programming. In the last 3 years, we've started doing our own campus trip for Birthright as part of Hillel International's Birthright Opportunities. We had 4 students go on the trip 3 years ago. We had 6 go last year, and this year we had 10. So it's something that has a lot of energy behind it. And in addition to that, the chaplaincy, one of our signature programs and something that we get from being a part of that office is our pilgrimage program. So as a director of religious life, I also lead the multi-faith pilgrimage experience. 2 years ago, that was to Poland. This year was supposed to be what we were terming our Holy Land trip. It was going to be a joint Israel and Palestine experience. And really Jewishness is a real part of that as well. And so I want to end by just noting that in a similar way to what Jose talked about as our guiding students in general, that's actually very consistent with what we do at you as part of UR Hillel and with Jewish life, right? We're highly integrated into the campus environment, and we have deep connections to the rest of the Richmond Jewish community, so that we can provide comprehensive and inclusive experiences, right, of a variety of different cultural backgrounds, recognizing that our students come from all over the Jewish world and all over the country, and so they have different practices. And our goal is not to tell anyone how they should be Jewish, right? Everyone who's interested is great at being Jewish. You do it by existing. But our goal is to provide as many different opportunities to help students, both Jewish and non-do Jewish, right? To figure out how Jewishness can manifest itself in your college experience, and ideally give you your own sort of toolbox so that as you prepare to graduate, you have the experience that makes you feel comfortable being Jewish and a part of the Jewish community for the rest of your life.
Josh, thank you so much. That was terrific. You can really get a sense of the warmth of the community at UR. So thank you for that. We're going to go ahead and start answering some questions, and we have some really good ones. So why don't we start with Max and Alana? There's a question about Greek life. Can you talk a little bit about your fraternity and sororities? How many are there? What percentage, if you know, and maybe you can get some help from Jose, of what percentage of people go Greek? What are there Jewish fraternities and sororities, or are there lots of Jewish students who belong to every fraternity sorority? Give us a sense of that. Alana, you want to start?
Sure. So on campus, I'm more familiar with the sororities as I am in a sorority, but on campus, about 36% of the total student body is involved in Greek life, which equates to about 45% of women, and I want to say it's around 30% of men. We have 8 sororities and 8 fraternities. 2 of these sororities are non-Pan-Hellenic, but 6 are. What's really nice though about our Greek life is that it's unique for 2 reasons, one of which being we delay recruitment to the second semester, first year. So you do get that chance to make a bunch of friends who you're not kind of confined to that, I guess, the individuals in your sorority, and you can branch out, meet new people, and all that fun stuff. And then we also do not have a Greek residential housing system. We have, for the sororities, we have little cottages, which has like a bathroom, a little craft room, a little like family room with a TV and a kitchen. So we'll often kind of just go in there just to hang out or do homework or some of that just fun stuff. For me personally, I am in a sorority. I'm involved, but I'm like not too involved. So honestly, if you do choose to go Greek, it's really just what you make it. You can get as involved as you want or as little involved as you want. So it's up to you. Max,
Very good. Yeah, Max.
I think Alana hit it on the head. I don't have too much to add to that, except for my personal experience. Whereas, at least as far as I know in my fraternity, I want to believe it's almost 15% Jewish, which is pretty high. So I've felt very well represented in my fraternity. I don't feel, I feel like my Jewish identity is not lost in that either.
Excellent. Thank you, guys. All right, let's talk a little bit about campus safety. There's a question: do you feel safe on campus, in particular, you know, as a woman? If you want to talk, maybe start with that, Ilana, and then Jose, if you want to add to that in terms of what, you know, the campus, what kind of safety, you know, what's out there in terms of how to make sure that people feel safe.
For me personally, as a woman, I have never felt unsafe on campus. Again, this is just me, so don't kind of take that for everyone. But in my personal opinion, I've never felt unsafe on campus. I mean, we do have like a mini bridge connecting the two sides of campus. And I mean, I'm not gonna walk through the woods at like 2 a.m. Because I'm afraid of the dark. But I feel pretty safe all the time. I'll walk from the library back to my dorm at 2, 3 a.m. if I'm up really late studying, and I feel perfectly safe. And again, we also have, or I'll let Jose, I'm a tour guide, so I know like all the tour guide answers and stuff. But I'll let Jose kind of talk about the, I guess, safety features and measures and stuff that we have on campus.
Yep, appreciate it. Yeah, so for us, we do have a full police force on our campus. So these are sworn officers, and you know, it's a large police force, and not because it's unsafe, just because we want to make sure our students feel comfortable on campus. We do have security officers. We have our resident advisors, staff, faculty around all the time. So we're making sure that our kids not only feel safe, the biggest word is feel comfortable, is the fact that they want to make sure that this is their home. This is where they reside. This is where they're on campus, you know, 24/7, 7 days a week, everything that nature. So our big thing without that is making sure that they're comfortable on campus, they're relaxed, everything that point. I think it just starts with the ability to see that there is a presence on campus of them to feel safe. And with the fact that we are in a very suburban location, we're not in the city. We're actually, like I said, 6 miles from downtown, very suburban neighborhood, everything that nature, very calm, relaxed. I mean, when you come on campus, it looks like a forest. And literally, I think that's what just gives you that sense of being just feel safe on campus.
Great, terrific. All right, let's talk a little bit about school spirit, about sports. Tell us about, you know, what it is to be a Spider. Why don't you start? You want to start, Max?
Sure. As a player, I'm not a D1 athlete, but there is a lot of spirit on the Frisbee team. It is great to go and compete against other schools, but for let's say football and basketball, the games are high energy. They're a lot of fun, especially when we play our neighbors VCU. Those tend to be some of the more intense and exciting games. But not being a huge fan of watching sports, I'm not always there, but it does seem to be a pretty popular thing to do.
Great. Jose, can you talk a little bit about you know, the school spirit?
Yeah, I mean, I love saying this, we're the only Spider in the country. I love saying the fact that when people see us all over the country, all over the world, and you see that Spider on your chest, on your hat, on your hoodie, people know who you are. And you see how infectious it is. I say one thing about our campus: you can tell how much spirit there is on our campus by how many university t-shirts there are, and I can count on my one hand when I see somebody that's not Richmond. So if you see another university out there, there's days where I don't see anything but Richmond. And I think that tells you the spider, the pride, everything we have here. And again, it's not just sports, it's everything we do, from the arts to music to everything that happens on campus. You see that pride, you see that go cheer on your classmate, and whatever they're doing out there is amazing. I'm actually one of the liaisons for our Division I program, so I get to be around our athletics teams and our club teams, everything of that nature. But it is amazing to see that our student body, how much they support, how much they're out there. And I agree with Max. When we play VCU in a basketball game, 15,000 people. It is insanity right there. But just the ability to see it all over the country. I mean, I'm at an airport and just see somebody says, "Oh my God, spider," and it's just that instant connection, that instant, then it just goes off about everything from there. So yeah, it's infectious, to say the least.
Awesome. And what sports are you D1? Football and basketball?
Yep, we actually have 15 different Division I sports on our campus.
Oh, wow.
So, yep, so we have we're in 2 different conferences. We are part of the Atlantic 10 conference for most of our sports. Football is part of the CAA, the Columbia Athletic Conference. So you have different aspects from there. But then, like I said, we also have we have multiple club sports on our campus, intramurals, everything on there. So we have a lot for our kids to do along with the clubs and organizations.
Great. And are the basketball arena and the football arena, are they on the campus?
Yes.
They are. Okay, so students can walk to and from those games. Fantastic. Right. Okay, Josh, I want to talk a little bit ask you questions around, first of all, in terms of like high holidays. If there's classes, what sort of, how does a student deal with that in terms of talking to the professor? And also, I'll also ask you the question about denomination of Judaism. What are there lots of Reform students, conservative, any Orthodox? That was one of the questions we got.
Yeah, absolutely. Both great questions. So for high holidays, and for that matter, any hog, right? Like any holiday where you wouldn't want to go to class, we have a University of Richmond holiday calendar or religious observance calendar, which the chaplaincy keeps updated year round. If you can go to the registrar's website, and you'll see it for the next 5 years. And so for not just Jewish holidays, but any of the holidays on there, if you tell your professor within the first 2 weeks of the semester, they're required to give you an accommodation, right? So you get out of class. Now, what that means for different professors will change, right? To be candid, if you've got a midterm, right, it's up to the professor on how that gets rescheduled. But it is our policy that there be an exception made for those religious observance opportunities. And I'll note, like, that's part of the reason why I'm on campus too, right? If that conversation doesn't go well, I can help give you some tools to make sure it does, or to be supportive of that. As far as the denominational breakdown on campus, I can count on one hand the number of Orthodox students, and while they feel supported and they'll come on occasion, they're not a big part of our campus, just population-wise. The vast majority are Reform. Many conservative, and I would actually say that there's a significant number that just would identify as Jewish, right? Our students are very closely resemble the overall breakdown of the larger American Jewish population, and so that's more or less how we break down. I don't have exact numbers; we haven't done that kind of data on it, but I'd say it's probably about 40% Reform, maybe 30% conservative, and then the additional, or 25% conservative, and the remaining 35 would just identify as Jewish.
Great, thank you. Okay, so there's a question about discrimination on campus, and then in registration there were also some questions around, have you guys as students felt there were, any anti-Semitism, and is there sort of the BDS movement on campus, and how have you addressed it? So Josh, do you want to start with that? And then maybe Alana, you can follow up.
Yeah, sure. So I can say, our university is a microcosm of the larger society, right? And so everything that I say, we're aware is influenced by other things beyond just our control. So with that said, we do not have at present any sort of BDS movement on campus, right? We, again, being a part of the campus community and employed by the university, I'm able to kind of get a sense of when or if something like that would be happening. And it's not something I've seen in the 5 years that I've been here. We have had a few anti-Semitic incidences. Less, I will say here, and I say that candidly, right? None, I think, and I would love to hear from Alana and Max, that have been any sort of like real attacks, right, or personal in any way, but more sort of like graffiti in obscure locations, right? Again, that's not to say that there's not, our students are safe. I'll say that, right? So we're not seeing any real major trends in anti-Semitism or BDS on campus. And we've been able, when that happens, because of the fact that we're in the chaplaincy and student development, to respond and be a part of the conversation that the university has in response to those incidents. Again, I'd love to hear from Alana from her perspective.
For me, I mean, all of my friends know I'm Jewish. They're always very interested about like learning about my tradition and like the traditions I have with like my family and my synagogue. They've come to Hillel several times. So I know for me personally, my friends are super understanding and like to learn about it. I know for me, I always wear my Star of David on my neck. I've never felt like uncomfortable wearing it. I haven't experienced any anti-Semitic comments or I guess like individual attacks. But again, that's also, I'm just one person. I don't know how others are.
Sure. Max, you want to add anything?
Sure. I think what you feel in these attacks that we're calling them, it just depends on how sensitive you are, and not in a bad way. If you notice these things, certain things I feel like I might be more attuned to, and realizing that was uneducated in some ways, and I'd like to tell them why that was not necessarily right. My biggest thing on this issue is that the student response when these events do happen is overwhelmingly positive, whether it's from racial tensions or religious, or we have, I mean, things will inevitably happen, and I wish that weren't true, but when they do, I do feel very supported by the Richmond community. I'm sorry, you're on.
Yeah, thank you. That's super helpful. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. There's a question about the theater program. Jose, do you want to take that?
Yep, so a little bit about the theater program. I mean, it's interesting, students that are interested in getting the film and the theater and things of that nature, so they have the opportunity to be able to use it, have that as an area of study. Also, the fact that there are a lot of different opportunities for the students on campus, so they definitely could join a thespian organization, be part of a play, be part of musicals, everything of that nature. So definitely give students the opportunity to expand themselves. And what's awesome is you don't have to major or study that to be involved in it as well too. I think that's a huge thing for us, that our ability for our students to, and not just with theater, but with anything, that they don't have to be in that major or that minor or that field of study in order to be involved with it.
Very cool. Excellent. Okay. So some of your favorite things to do outside the classroom, and also I'm going to ask the students to talk a little bit about how do they balance, between academics and their social life and your, community involvement. How do you go about balancing, that life and being successful? Max, you want to start with that one?
Sure, be happy to. Managing your time is something that took me a moment to learn once I got to school. The biggest thing I can recommend is a planner, but I think you guys have your tools. Don't be afraid to reach out to teachers. They're all there to help you, and 9 times out of 10, they are happy to help. They're humans too, and sometimes they're just not in the mood, but like most of the time, they're there to help you, and as long as you are flexible there, all the resources are there for you to use to succeed.
Alana?
Yeah, so for me, I think one of the hardest things at Richmond is learning how to say no. In regards to, there's so much stuff you can do on campus, and even like off campus, it's hard to figure out or how to learn how to say, all right, nope, I gotta study. I can't go to this, I don't know, this Greek organization meeting, or go to practice tonight for soccer. I gotta focus on my studies. So definitely, I think that's one of the hardest things. But it's definitely hard a little bit at first. You're kind of overwhelmed at all the options, since we have so many clubs and organizations on campus. It's definitely hard to kind of figure out that balance. But once you do, it definitely gets easier. I know for me, like that, also what Max was saying, like a planner, I'm also very organized in general. So I always try and kind of stop my homework at a certain time, so then I have a little bit of just relaxation time, so I can just kind of take a minute to be alone and just to breathe, and to just kind of stay in the moment.
Great. Jose, can you talk a little bit about support, like whether it's academic support, whether it's peer tutoring, or and then also address wellness and how UR supports its students who might be, needing some, some help in that arena?
Yep. So when it comes to support for our students, I mean, the big thing comes from our counseling staff, our academic skills center, tutors available at all times. So we're definitely there for our students when it comes to any kind of support, be it from if students have a learning disability, if students need some extra supports and just the help in the classroom, we give them that. Outside the classroom, if they need some kind of counseling or thing of that nature, we sometimes will outsource it, just depending on what the severity of it is. We definitely help our kids out from there. I love the question of well-being. This fall, actually, we'll be opening up a brand new well-being center on our campus. We are less than like half a percentage of the entire nation that has a well-being center, and this is for our students. I think me and Josh can both agree we're a little jealous about this, because of the fact that there will be places for them to meditate, to relax, a healthy kitchen, salt baths, massage, everything you think of, anything that can help them, because we know that the mental health, the well-being of student is very key in the success of them while they're on campus. This, again, will be opening up this fall. It'll be located right in front of the athletic center. Again, it's just another piece for our students to feel that we have their back, that we are there for them. And I think there's something that when Dr. Crutcher and our entire campus saw this as an opportunity, it was something that we felt was a key component to help our students out while their time here on campus. And again, I reiterate, I am jealous, very jealous.
Oh, me too. That sounds amazing. Okay, so a question about roommates. How did you find your roommate? Was it assigned? Did you find them on Facebook before you started? Max, you want to start?
There is a form you fill out with most of your living preferences, whether you stay up a little later, do you want the fan on? And my roommate and I, from freshman year, we're not the best of friends, but we got along really well. The rooms are big enough that you have enough space to yourself. And overall, it's a good way to make a new friend. Like I said, I didn't know him going in, and we aren't super close, but when I see him, we still say hi to each other. So overall, I think the matchmaking system is pretty good. You do also have the opportunity to request a roommate if you find someone you are friendly with online or at an admitted students day or something like that.
Excellent. Alana?
Yeah, so for me, I actually filled out the survey and just kind of started talking to some people, found someone we thought we connected when we moved in. Turns out we didn't, but housing was really great, and I was able to switch to a different dorm with a new roommate, and I love her so much. Unfortunately, I can't room with her this upcoming year because she's doing a living learning program. But I mean, overall, I love my roommate. So yeah.
Awesome. Jose, do you have any closing comments you want to give to our audience?
Yep. So one thing, just some advice I always give to our students that are looking at the application process is one thing I've always learned over time, and I think Max, Alana, Josh, we could all say this through the process, is one, enjoy your senior year. Literally, I know it's a different animal this year. It is literally with COVID-19 and everything, but enjoy your senior year. And the last thing I can tell you is patience. Patience with your parents or guardians, patience with your school counselors, and probably the biggest one is patience with yourself. This is a process, but it's not a scary process. Biggest thing, stay on time, deadlines, and proofread. Make sure of all of that. But again, guys, enjoy your time. Give you a couple heads up for us. We have not made a decision yet on what we were doing for visitors on our campus this coming year. Our biggest priority is our students right now, so we're figuring it out as we go. We have some plans, everything of that nature, but we want to make sure that we alert students knowing that right now it is the virtual options for us until we make some decisions on if and when we do allow visitors on campus. But contact us, get a hold of us, reach out to us, anything we can. We're here to help you guys out through the process.
Terrific. You guys, thank you so much. That was really informative. And I think that all of the participants, I know I did, I learned so much about UR and about, your warm community. I know it is, I've been there. It's one of the most beautiful campuses I've ever set foot on. I also want to thank all of the teens and the parents who joined us today. And I want to let you know what's coming up on the road trip to college. Tomorrow at 1 o'clock is our lunchtime session with Emory University. And then we're going to take the weekend off to wish all of our dads happy Father's Day. And we're going to start back on Monday with the University of Virginia. On Tuesday, the 23rd, the University of Alabama. On Wednesday, the 24th, the University of Texas. And all of these are going to take place at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you can register for them at roadtriptocollege.org and follow us on social media at JumpSparkATL. Please take a minute to answer the survey that is going to prompt you as soon as the session ends. And I want to thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you next time.